Good evening and welcome to the Radical SR8 Championship. Round 7 takes us down under to Mount Panorama, Bathurst, Australia. I am Tom Cairns in the commentary position with Jim Cunningham, who will be with me for the next hour and a half to analyse the action. Whilst qualifying is underway and waiting for the first set of lap times to come through, let's have a look at the latest championship scores as we approach the business end of the season and, of course, Christmas. In the pros, we look at John Hutchinson, who wasn't here last week at Interlagos, but he's still top of the pile by 23 points over second place Eric Harmon, who picked up another win 7 days ago. He's 23 off the top, and a further point behind Harmon is Luke Maxwell, who's in third place on 182. We've got Matthew Richardson and Jack Vesey tied with 174 points each, and then it's Paul LeMay in sixth place, 157. Luke Tunison in seventh place, and then we've got Paul Crabb, Terence Vosberg, Jamie Bird, Daniel Beauchamp, who returns tonight after missing the last few weeks. Mike Boost on the reigning champion down in 12th place. He's got a lot of work to do, as does Josh Reed, but Josh Reed is not here tonight, unfortunately. In the AMS, Melody Graf, who excelled last week at Interlagos, he's leading by 4 points over Gert-Jan Polman and Eric Colleen. Very, very close at the top there. And it's quite a bit down to find Stefan Mellis, Michael Cho, and David Rolliston. Just a point separating those three, and not far behind them as well is Steve Webb, who continuing his good form so far this season in seventh place. Darren Nunn in eighth. And we've got Mike Mann, Richard Williams, Ben Gregory, Mikkel Lecko, and Mike Walters, who is still yet to score a point so far this season. In terms of the calendar, we begun the season at Alton Park. We then headed to Zolder, then Sonoma, Road of America. We had the two races at the Nordschleife, and as I've already mentioned, we went to Interlagos 7 days ago. Bathurst is tonight, and then we go to Red Atlanta, heading back to the States for a double bill there, and Sebring, which is being held on the 29th of December. And the final round of the season will be at the historic configuration of Monza on the first Monday of 2026. So do not miss that. It should be a thrilling finale indeed, just like it did so in the last couple of seasons. Time to bring Jim in, and that's enough of me for the next minute or so. Let's bring Jim in and get his thoughts on the action for this evening. Jim, good evening.
Well, good evening, Tom. Good to be here with you. Good to be here at Mount Panorama. What a historic, epic track. I mean, you know, it's what else do you need to say? Just Bathurst or Mount Panorama, and that's you pretty much have them covered right there. Yeah, man, I'm excited. This is it's going to be fun, no doubt. Probably going to be some chaos. You know, I'm sure we're going to see some action up on the mountain. I think all that is inevitable. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a good one.
3.8 miles or 6.2 kilometers, if you prefer, of this notorious course that has claimed a lot of victims in many different iRacing series over the course of the last 17 years, really, since iRacing was a thing when it was launched in 2008. But as far as JP Broadcasting is concerned, it is absolutely spellbinding to see these radicals race around this course. We've just seen Luke Maxwell go over the line for P7. He won one of the races last week, did Maxwell, taking his winning tally to 3 for the season. And John Hutchinson, who's got 4 wins to his name, none of which came last week because he wasn't around. He's got in for pole position here, which would give him the first championship point of the night. Take us for a lap then, Jim.
Well, you got the wrong guy for the lap. That's more your speed than mine. But
Okay.
I tell you what, though, man. I'm really not good at calling laps. But I tell you what, this place is absolutely epic. This path through the mountain is so treacherous. You know, there's just so many points where the car gets incredibly light, blind corners. If somebody gets sideways, you can't see them as you're coming through the mountain. And one of the absolute cardinal sins of this place is if you spin on the mountain and you try to do one of those like 7 or 9 point turns or whatever they call it, you get more than likely somebody's going to come around that curve and just absolutely blast you. So it's a tough place. We'll find you one that you can do a lap around with. I think you'll be much better at that than me.
On the Conrad Straight comes John Hudson, and not too far behind him is Jack Veazey, who's continuing to impress in his second season in this championship as he aims for pole position. Looking at how he's getting on in terms of the lap itself, I'm looking at his sector times just to see if he's actually improving. I think he is improving on this one, but I'm not sure if he's improving enough to take pole position at this rate. He'll get the lap in before the time reaches 0, but not with a mistake like that at the chase. And that is his lap done. Into the last 10 seconds we go. Eric Harmon is at the top of the timing pages right now, and he's looking on course for pole position.
I tell you what, man, this guy, he's going to get another one in here too. Look at that. Let's see if he improve his time. I don't know, but he's up there either way on pole. Yeah, man, I tell you what, he is becoming so impressive. It's week in and week out now, man. He is right up there being talked about with the super fast guys of this league.
Qualifying concludes with Eric Harmon on pole position with Mike Boosson alongside. A brilliant effort by the Brit. He needs a good result tonight to get back in the championship hunt. Luke Maxwell third ahead of Jack Veazey. We've got John Hutchinson and Matthew Richardson on the third row. Paul Crabb and Jamie Bird are next, with Daniel Beauchamp and Mena de Graaf running out the top 10. Luke Tunison and Dave Rollison are next to each other on the sixth row, and then we've got Eric Colleen and Gert-Jan Polman next. Steve Webb and Taras Vosberg, who has struggled so far on this circuit, can he end race one with a solid enough drive? We shall see. Michael Choate and Darren Nunn on the ninth row. At the back, we've got Richard Williams and Stefan Millis, who didn't set lap times in that qualifying session. But as we know, Jim, it's a lottery of a race circuit to know who will come out on top here.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely one of those circuits that, you know, it's so much. Well, I mean, there is luck involved. There's a lot of skill involved here. There's definitely a knack to getting around this place and keeping yourself out of trouble. But there's also there's a lot of luck involved, you know. But and you really have to trust the drivers around you at this place, because they can control your fate so much. Well, we're just about got everybody. Here we go.
Everyone is on the grid now, and we are good to go for the start of race number 1 here in Mount Panorama. The first light is on. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go, and a good start from Eric Harmon. Minimal wheel spin off the line. The same for Mike Bousson, who slots into second place, and it feels like the grid has unchanged, actually, all the way through turn 1. The top 6 are in the same position as before. There's Cardiff in the back. That's Paul Crabb, who's gone round for a spin. And who else is going forward? I think I think Steve Webb's been affected by it. Yeah, Paul Crabb facing the wrong way with damage. And now we're looking at the two leading cars of Harmon and Bousson heading through the right-hander of Quarry Bend. And so far, so good for the American, who's chasing his 4th win this season already, looking to level up with John Hutchinson. But John is in 4th place, trying to fail. Jack Veazey goes too deep into the cutting, and not only allows Veazey to go through, but Matthew Richardson has got alongside, but it feels like Hutchinson will have the inside line heading up the hill.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a rough start there, but not surprising. Again, it's Bathurst. We're going to get that 3 times tonight, though. That's the beautiful part of this series. We're going to get that same situation again and again.
It's a long lap of this. It's a long lap, this, of course. So expecting a shorter number of laps. 3 cars affected at the first corner. Richard Williams, Paul Crabb and Steve Webb are the drivers involved. They may get back into the race, considering the circuit's nature, so we could well see them heading back onto the circuit soon enough. But in the meantime, it's Eric Harmon who leads, Mike Bousson second, Luke Maxwell in 3rd position. And then we've got Jack Veazey, John Hutchinson and Matthew Richardson. So the top 6 are in the same positions as where they were on the grid. Jamie Bird in 7th place now, tussling with Mena de Graaf 4th position. Go on, Jim.
I know Bird just dropped down the timing chart for a second, but snapped back up. I think he had a bad blink. That's what it would appear that it was.
Heading towards the last corner of Murray's, and it'll be Harmon leading at the end of the first lap. Maxwell on the tail of Bousson as we begin lap 2. He's not close enough through this part of the course, so it'll be a solid drive coming onto the mountain straight out of Hell's Corner for Maxwell. And now he'll want to try and get tucked into the slipstream, but he's too far away to even think about doing that. So it's as you were. Right. And no such dramas apart from what happened at turn 1.
Let's see. I'm going to go back and see that if we can, see what happened there. This might be a combination of things. Let's.
And that is Michael Choate in the number 11 we are looking at. I think Paul Crab already has his spin. And yeah, you could just see there was a car up in the air as well in avoidance. That must have been, that must have been Richard Williams' bonnet that's gone missing.
Yeah, I believe it was actually. Let's see. Look at that glare, would you?
Yeah, it's almost difficult to identify the cars with that glare,
really
isn't it?
It really is. Let's see if we can get a different camera angle here. Maybe the chopper will help us. And that's going to be on Paul Crab. So this is where it's going to happen at right here. All right, let's pick the pace up, Jim.
So, yeah, he gets tapped around there, look.
Oh! Wow.
I think it's David Rolliston, actually. I think it might have been David Rolliston he collided with. And then Steve Webb gets rear-ended by Richard Williams.
Ouch. Yeah, Webb hit him head on, and then Webb got rear-ended. That one's not coming out. That's not going to buff out for sure.
Well, Williams is back in the race, unlike Crab and Webb. I don't know whether they decided to just hang fire and wait until race 2 arrives, because in this one, the top 16 score points. 20 points for the win, 15 for second. It's a point difference for every position downwards from that. So if you finish outside the top 16, even if you finish in 17th, well, I'm afraid you don't get any points for finishing in that position in races 1 or 2. Steve Webb is now back in the race, albeit a lap down.
Yeah, you know, the problem with Mount Panorama is, and you get that crazy action in the first lap or two, right, when everybody's together. But once these cars spread out here, you don't see a lot of passing. Like you were talking about, we don't really have any huge movers going up the chart. David Rolliston is up 3 spots. That's the highest with Taurus Vosberg, who, by the way, has his Lithuanian flag up this week, and it's not his German flag anymore. So glad we could finally settle that for him. That's horrible that he went half the season with the wrong flag.
Go ahead.
At
least we've got the correct stripes.
Yes, we do now. We're good.
Daniel Beauchamp has ended up in the wall, Jim, as a bad mistake there by someone who rarely makes mistakes in this series, but he has just made one on his return after missing the last few weeks. Michael Choate has got involved as well, and I think Richard Williams has ended up in the barrier, so I wonder if those two have come together. Maybe Beauchamp went in the barrier first, and Choate just caught him in the aftermath.
I think that might be what it's going to be here. Let me get this thing back up to normal speed.
So Beauchamp's bonnet had already gone missing from the contact with Paul Crab at turn 1 in the opening lap.
Oh my gosh, he just turned.
And that's
right
Michael Choate.
him.
I don't know if he was put off by Taurus Vosberg's lockup into Quali, but that was enough to pin the barrier, and that's the rear tyre gone as well on Beauchamp's car.
I think Beauchamp just did not see the blue car there at all. He just turned right straight across it. I mean, he's right there. He's got the corner, and then boom.
Yeah. There was just not very good awareness from Daniel Beauchamp that time. He'll look back on that and think that he should have been a little bit more aware. And it looks like someone...
Well, that was Beauchamp in the pits there, I think.
I saw a car spinning at the last corner as well, whilst Beauchamp went back into pit lane, but we'll come back to that in a moment. That's Veazey on the inside of Matt Hutchinson into the last corner of Murray's into 4th place, and that's a good overtake there from Veazey, but Matt Hutchinson is coming back thanks to the draft from Buson before Hell's Corner. Matt Hutchinson on the outside is going to run out of road in a moment here, but Matt Hutchinson's kept his nose in front of Veazey on the mountain straight, and he's doing well enough to keep hold of that position. Beauchamp, Choate, and Williams are in the pit lane.
He caught a little draft from his teammate there, Buson. That was a nice little draft that helped him get back by Veazey there. That was pretty clever.
On lap 4 of the race, we expect this to be an 8-lap encounter for both races 1 and 2. Eric Harmon's lead is now 1.5 seconds, and it's Maxwell 2nd, Buson 3rd, and it's Hutchinson 4th. It had a Veazey and Richardson.
Let's look at this real quick. This looks let's go here. Let's go here. So this is Maxwell making a move on Buson.
That's at the chase that Maxwell got the move done. And then that was, we were about to see what we were seeing just as we came away from the replay, Jim. So that is essentially Maxwell through into 2nd position.
Yeah, that's a great pass. That's how you do it here for sure, you know. Oops, that was a twitchy finger. So focus here on Minnow de Graaf. He's got the He's got the lead in the AMs right now, running 8th overall.
He is. Leading the AMs at the moment is Menno de Graaf. The leader in the AMs in the standings, albeit only by 4 points over Eric Colleen and Gert-Jan Polman. And through goes David Rolleston.
Yeah.
Rolleston on a charge now as well, doing remarkably well. I forgot where Rolleston was in the standings actually, so we may have a look during the warm-up after race 2. But on a charge goes Rolleston into 8th position, and the leader in the AMs behind de Graaf is Luke Tunison, who has shone quite brilliantly so far this season, including his heroics in Brazil. But his pace doesn't exactly measure up to that at the moment. It feels like Mount Panorama isn't exactly Tunison's circuit.
Well, you know, I mean, I agree with you 100%. And I mean, like the same could kind of be said for Taras Vosberg. You know, he's just seems to be a little uncomfortable so far. Well, be interesting to see how they progress through the 3 races, because you know, we've seen that certainly a couple of weeks ago from Matthew Richardson. I don't recall what track it was at. It might have been the Nordschleife even. I don't know. But he just didn't seem to have the pace early on. But as time went on, he got faster and faster. It ended up being really quick towards the end there.
Up the hill towards the cutting, but now we cut away to Hudson and Buson for 3rd position. Now these two are, of course, teammates within Redline, as are Eric Harmon and Luke Maxwell. But down the hill they come again. I have to say, sticking to each other like glue around this part, because you just see Buson sliding a little through the dipper. But at the moment so far, he seems to have coped with the situation. There's a little lock up ahead, and that might have been Luke Maxwell leaving a little bit of smoke, but that doesn't seem to put off Buson or Hudson by the slightest. But the time is ticking down, approaching the end of lap number 5, and it's Harmon's lead of 1.5 seconds. That is essentially the emphasis of how this race has gone so far. Man, absolutely killing it as Hudson going through on Buson at the end of the Comrade Straight and into the chase. That was a good overtake there from Hudson, but does he leave room? Will Buson be aware of VZ's presence? Because VZ will be fancying a go at some point in the near future. Round the outside goes Buson, aiming for the switchback on the exit of Murray's, but it feels like Hudson has it covered, and VZ is now on the attack on Buson.
Yeah, he quickly got gobbled up by VZ as well, and VZ's by.
Richardson is waiting to pounce as well, and a shout out to those that have been following Matthew Richardson so far this season. Jack has come in saying, I think it's Eric Colleen in terms of the driver who's supporting, if I remember correctly. So good to have him watching. And in the chat, that's Buson running wide over the curb at Quali. That could have come off quite disastrously for him after his best qualifying of the season so far as reigning champion. But now he's got Richardson and Bird not too far back.
Yeah, this is it's good to have Jack back in the chat again. You know who that is, right? We talked about that. Yeah, he's great, man. He's got his YouTube. For those of you who don't know, man, you got to go check out his YouTube channel. It's absolutely fantastic. Great content always. Good old Irish opinion on things. Oh my goodness!
Colleen's off.
Oh my word! Well,
from the report goes Eric Colleen. That was so close.
That might have been the commentator curse there. Me coming over. That was not good. Sorry about that. Yeah, still my favorite livery. I love that livery so much.
And you can see Tunison and de Graaf fighting over 9th place overall. De Graaf running 2nd in the AMs on the Comrade Straight. We've got Darren Nunn, the latest, to hit the barrier somewhere, but we'll come to that in a moment. Tunison to the outside of de Graaf, heading towards the chase. I think Tunison should have this one sewn up by the time they get there, through that little kink and bump, which I think will aid Tunison's cause, and through goes Tunison that time around, and de Graaf didn't fight that.
No, that's the place to pass. I mean, that's where it's all happening at right there.
Very clean, continuing on. I would expect Darren Nunn to be in the pit lane at the end of the set. That looked like Steve. Is that Steve Webb, I think?
That was Nunn, I believe.
Yeah, but he's got damage as well as Nunn, so we expect him to be in the pit lane in the near future. And Melis, I can imagine, could possibly do the same, but he's carrying on his way. So Melis doesn't seem to be having damage at the moment. But I suppose the good news for Nunn is that he can come into the pit lane and come back out again in 15 because Paul Crabb and Michael Cho are so far behind.
Did You said none. Oh, he just had it. Okay, here. This is, I guess.
Yeah, I did say none.
This was all. That's all that happened to him right there.
That was after the damage he picked up. It was earlier on in the lap when Darren Nunn sustained damage. We'll find out in due course. At least he's back out on circuit now anyway, in 15th position, still on course for 2 championship points from this one. Hutchinson, meanwhile, has got VZ on his tail. He's not exactly gaining on Luke Maxwell at the moment. It feels like he's dropped back since we saw the red line quadruple heading through, and the photographer standing in perhaps not the safest place in the world to be taking photographs from. And Buson's out, Jim. Buson has ended up in the barrier. He was running in 5th position, but the reigning champion has once again hit trouble again in the Radical SR8 Championship.
Well, this is so weird. Where it's not showing that he had any incident whatsoever.
That allows Matthew Richardson and Jamie Bird to move up positions. Hudson now has VZ on his tail. As we look at Matthew Richardson, what happens to Buson? I think he just lost connection.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I see nothing. Yeah, and then everybody just shows everybody passing him. So yeah, he just dropped connection.
That's a terrible shame for Buson. He really needed a strong result tonight to amend the situation he has found himself in as far as the points battle is concerned. He has to hope for better luck for what's to come in race number 2. We'll head back to live images in a moment, but right now it's O'Harmon's lead of 1.5 seconds that is allowing him to pull away. Having said that, it's coming down to a second. Hudson has VZ on his tail on the approach to Quali, but Hudson is able to take his line and defend the position. That was good driving from Hudson that time around.
That is, yeah. And McCutcheon is the kind of guy that you can make a move on through the mountain on. You know what I mean? Like, there's just certain guys that you just wouldn't do it because you're just not sure what they're going to do. But McCutcheon is certainly one of those guys that you feel like you could attempt that move and he's not going to wreck you in the process, you know? And
believe it or not, we're on the final lap of the race. Eric Harmon on his way to his 4th win of the season. Hudson doing his utmost to hold back Jack VC. There is Harmon. There is Luke Maxwell gaining on him all the time. But I think Harmon has this one covered. This is the battle we want to keep an eye on for as long as possible. Hudson, VZ, Richardson and Bird all nose to tail. And this could decide who will be on reverse grid pole for race number 2 because it's the top 5 finishers that get reversed for the race 2 grid. So the man that's sitting in that 5th place right now is Matthew Richardson, who will want to keep Jamie Bird back. But that could all change depending on what happens further up ahead involving Hudson and VZ. Hudson is, well, he's more than a few car lengths in front of VZ now. So I think 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th are sealed. Eric Harmon close to the flag now. He's got the chase and Murray's to come through. And it'll be a 4th win of the season for the man from the US, Eric Harmon, who's driven a beautiful race again from pole position. Maxwell has got the gap down to 7/10, but it's Harmon who holds on to take the first win of the evening at Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. Terrific effort from Harmon, and it's Maxwell second, and it's John Hudson who holds off Jack Vesey and Matthew Richardson, who is on reverse grid pole for race 2. Jamie Bird finishes 6th, Luke Shinnerson 7th, and it's David Rolliston who wins out in the AMS, just in front of Mena de Graaf and Eric Colleen, who complete the AM podium. And we just wait for the likes of Gert-Jan Polman, Terence Vosberg, Stefan Mers, Darren Nunn, Paul Crabb, Michael Choate, and Steve Webb to head over the line in due course.
I'll tell you what, that was some good battles there, man. I mean, you know, Harmon kind of was out there in front, but you had that great battle for like 3rd, 4th, 5th. In the pros, and then you had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd running right there together in the AMs. What a great first race, you know. Let's see, I think we're waiting.
Darren Nunn will be the last driver over the line. Those behind him finished a lap down. He's on the Comrade straight, is Darren. So we just wait to see him heading over, and we can run down on the results of the first race very quickly before we have to go to the race 2 grid.
Yeah, this one's gonna. Take a deep breath. It's going to come fast.
Darren Nunn heads over the line in 14th position, and that'll be 3 championship points going to his total. Depending on which best rounds get added for the championship score, it's the best drivers' 8 rounds scores that get that determine the championship standings. Race 1 concludes with Eric Harmon taking victory, Luke Maxwell second, Gemma Hudson running out the podium ahead of Jack Vesey, Matthew Richardson on reverse grid pole in 5th place, and it's Jamie Bird 6th. Luke Chinson 7th, Dave Rolston winning out the AMs in 8th ahead of Minna de Graaf and Eric Killeen, who round out the AM podium. Gert-Jan Polman and Taras Vosberg are 11th and 12th. Then we've got Stefan Mellis, Darren Nunn, Mike Booston, Paul Crabb, Michael Cho and Steve Webb, who are those to finish. Those that didn't make it to the flag were Richard Williams and Daniel Beauchamp. Matthew Richardson on reverse grid pole with Jack Vesey alongside, and it's John Hudson in 3rd place under Luke Maxwell. Eric Harmon and Jamie Bird on next, followed by Luke Chinison and David Rolliston. Minna de Graaf and Eric Killeen round at the top 10. Then it's Gert-Jan Polman and Taras Vosberg on the 6th row. Stefan Mers and Darren Nunn are on row 7, followed by Mike Booston and Paul Crabb. Michael Cho and Steve Webb on row 9. At the back are those that didn't make it to the end, Daniel Beauchamp and Richard Williams in race number 1. We are good to go for race number 2 with the starts as it is. Everyone is on the grid now and the lights are coming on for the second time. The first light is on, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go. Brilliant getaway from Matthew Richardson. Not so for Gemma Hudson, who got bogged down off the line and he's dropped down to 6th place before he even gets to turn 1. That's probably one of the worst starts I've seen from Gemma Hudson for quite some time. In contrast, Jack Vesey's got his nose in front of Matthew Richardson coming out of turn 1. It's a cleaner start compared to what happened about 15 to 20 minutes ago. Vesey leads, Richardson on his tail. It's Maxwell, Harmon, Bird, Rolston, who's up into 6th place. Hudson down to 7th place already, Jim. And he's got Luke Chinison on his inside.
Yeah, that was not a great getaway there at all. He's down 4 spots right off the bat. That's very much un-John McCutcheon-like, but we'll see what happens here in the first few laps. So far, good, clean getaway from everybody. They get a lot of close things happening right now. Oh, Killeen got a little loose there.
He did. He's all out of shape. He's offline. He may have damage, Jim, as they come through the tricky section of the course. They're heading towards McFinley Park. This is a part of the circuit which can catch a lot of drivers out, but this seems to have got through safe and sound. As the field head down the hill, we'll get the timing page up in due course so you can see where everyone is in the pecking order. And so Vesey leads the way. A little luck up there from Matthew Richardson through Forest Elbow, and they are coming out now onto the Conrod Straight. So it's Vesey who leads, and it's Richardson 2nd, Maxwell, Harmon in 4th place, up 1 spot from his starting place. Bird 5th, Rolston 6th, the highest in the AMs. Hudson 7th, Tunison 8th, de Graaf 9th, and Vosberg inside the top 10. Now, I did say at the beginning of race 1, the top 6 remained in the same positions where they were on the grid. Not a single driver in the top 6 are in the same positions as where they were on the grid in race number 2.
Now, much more of a competitive or...
that's Bousson on Killeen at the chase.
Yep.
That's Bousson heading through. He's got Beauchamp for company right behind. Now, Beauchamp will want a cleaner end to his second race. He was one of 2 that didn't make it to the end in race number 1. There we see Michael Cho to the outside of Eric Killeen out of the final corner onto the pit straight. And so far, so good there for Michael Cho coming through the field. Respectfully.
Killeen, oh, sorry.
That's Killeen.
He was way up front, and he got in trouble on the mountain, lost his rhythm coming through there, got 8 up there. Then McCutcheon comes through and body checks him off the track. And Bousson comes through and body checks him off the track. Now he's down to 17th place.
Stefan Millers came into the pits, presumably with damage that needed to be repaired. There's Jamie Bird locking up behind Eric Harmon through the cut-in. And they elevate more up the hill and towards the sequence of left-handers, beginning with Solomon Park. And it'll be McFinley Park, the one before the circuit properly declines down through Skyline, the S's, the Dipper, and eventually to Forest Elbow. But there we see John Hudson running in 7th position behind the AM leader, David Rolliston, who is doing his best to keep him back, but I think Hudson will find a way through eventually. Once they get onto the Conrod Straight, or even the Mountain Straight, depending on how long it really takes for Hudson to get through, the top 10 finishes in the second race will be reversed for the third and final race. That's Rolliston running a little too deep. Hudson's drive was a lot better compared to the AM, and so Rolliston doesn't fight it and decides to tuck into the slipstream and stay in the tow.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with John behind you like that. It's so much pressure on you to just hit every mark and every line so proper to keep him back. Tunison here.
Drag race to the chase. Tunison passes Rolliston for P7. And Rolston has got Miller to go off next. He won't want to let him by.
No.
Those two will be locked into combat. Richard Williams has found the wall again, unfortunately, in this second race. We expect him to be in the pit lane rather shortly. But as the field heads over the line to start lap number 3, it's Veazey ahead of Richardson still. Maxwell and Harmon are next. And it's Jamie Bird in 5th place. You can just see the top 5 in your picture with McHutchison in the background.
Yeah, McHutchinson's slowly working his way up, but it's so tough to pass here except for the couple of straights. Looks like Darren Nunn had some trouble.
Williston drops down to P10. He's lost 2 positions since we last saw of him. So I don't know exactly what he's been up to. He's probably made a mistake out of Hell's Corner, hence why he's now behind the new AM leader. Someone's ended up in the wall in the background, though. I couldn't quite see who exactly that was. It might have been Daniel Beauchamp, thinking of it. We'll have a look when we get a chance. There is Daniel Beauchamp running in 13th position, making his way through from the back of the field. But he's not finding his feet round this course, Jim. I think he's another one of those who isn't exactly fond on this particular circuit.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing when you mentioned him. Of course, he got in trouble. He was involved in that horrible accident right off at the beginning of the race last time. So that's not a fair representation. And then, unfortunately, because of that, he did not get to start anywhere near the front of this race. And so he's kind of marred back there in a bad spot, This is not the place where you can make up a bunch of spots and pass people. So, yeah, he's just he's up 6 spots. That tells you how far back he was from the incident in the first race.
There are the leaders, the top 5 coming through the chase. Veazey, Richardson, Maxwell, Harmon, Bird. McHutchison is a further 3.5 seconds back from the lead in 5. I was going to say about Daniel Beauchamp, he's now 3 positions away from a possible reverse grid pole, so if he could just keep it up, he might salvage something after what's been a tricky evening so far for him. Maxwell goes past Richardson, or so he thought. He's on the inside of Richardson into turn 1 here is Luke Maxwell. The bang of wheels coming out of the exit. That's going to encourage Harmon and Bird to be in the slipstream, and it'll be a drag race down to Quarry.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. They're going to go 3 wide? Oh, I thought he was for a second. Thought Harmon was
no way
3 wide. No. Well,
no.
Luke kind of blocked that because Luke didn't want any part of that, I don't think. Look at Richardson, man. He turned it right down on the bottom there and just drove right around Maxwell. That's not easy to do.
And so has Bird. Bird has got past both Harmon and Maxwell, it seems, although Maxwell had the inside for the cutting. I thought Bird got both of them, to be honest with you. That would have been sensational for him. But it is just Harmon that he's got by for now. And they're coming towards Solomon and McFinry. And right now, these are locked in their own combat. And this is allowing Jack Veazey to shoot further and further away. Jack Veazey on his way to another win, it seems. 7 minutes into this one and nearly halfway through.
Yeah, he's off. Well, that's the thing about getting out here in the lead, man. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but you get that clean air and just a clear track in front of you, and you can kind of just separate you. Oh, big block up by Richardson.
And he nearly ended up in the wall. Did Richardson is down to 5th position, and that's a terrible shame after building all that up. And he's got his work cut out if he is to remain towards the front end for race number 3.
He's not sitting there looking for Tow Mater to come get him, come get a tow truck after him, man. That was close to tearing it up.
Bird to the outside of Maxwell at the chase. Bird goes for a spin. Oh, that's a shame for Bird. And it's not the first time we've seen that this season from him. It's just like when he attacks, he throws too much at it, and he pays the price.
All right, let's see. Let's go back and look at that one real quick.
He was on the outside. I'd imagine he's locked the rears, to be honest, Jim.
They got a little bump there.
Was there a bump?
Yeah. Yeah, there was. Let's see. Let's go to Luke. See if I can get in this cockpit fast enough.
If there was a touch, it was only minimal, but
minimal,
it felt
minimal.
It felt more like Bird had just locked the rears for me, which are very easy to do.
He definitely sent it in there, yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. So now I want to go back and see when Richardson got passed by everybody.
Bird is down to 9th place off that spin. He's behind David Rolliston.
Yeah, that hurt him bad, didn't it?
Yep, but at least he's still in play for the front row in race number 3. a chance for him to pick up his first win of the campaign. 8 different drivers have stood on the top step. The latest to do so was Paul Crabb last week in Brazil. And he's not going to do anything heroic, I don't think, compared to what he did 7 days ago.
This is what happened to Richardson a couple of minutes ago here.
This is Richardson doing this lockup, I think. Yeah, you could just see he went wide at the elbow. And he couldn't get it slowed down.
Yeah,
well, he did just about.
So this is where this camera angle couldn't be any worse. There it is. Oh, man.
He got it wide. He lost it.
That was such a save, man, I have to say. Uh-oh. I think we had a Darren Nunn incident.
And Daniel Beauchamp's gone down the order as well. He's just behind Eric Colleen. They're side by side. There we look at Darren Nunn. What's he managed to do here? This is over at Skyline. Oh, he just went too quickly, carried too much speed.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Oh, my God.
Into the last 5 minutes of race number 2. And there is VZ in the foreground, leading by nearly 3 seconds over Luke Maxwell and Eric Harmon, who is in the tow of his fellow Redline driver. And he's coming out of the slipstream there.
He jumped out of it there. I wouldn't have thought he was going to jump out there, but I guess he knew he had no pass here. Real quick. Oh, my bad.
Now it's Jamie Bird. That's David Rolliston just in front.
Yeah, he's. It looked like Jamie was going to get by him real quick there. I was going to jump to it, but. Oh, no, that ain't good. There's no way they both came out of that. Oh, man, that camera angle was horrible.
Well, but at least Bird survived that one. But now he's going to have to close back in on Rolliston in due course. And hope for the best, really.
The cameras around here are terrible because of all the trees and the tight mountain turns. You can't get the great shots. Well, it's just hard to get good angles sometimes.
Down the hill they come. Bird right on the tail of Rolliston here. If he can get a good exit out of the elbow, he might just be within range to attack on the Conrod straight.
Well, he's back there a little bit. I mean, he's going to make some of that up, but I don't know if he's going to make enough of.
And down the Conrod straight they come. Bird is way too far back to do it here. Further up front, Eric Harmon is now on the tail of Luke Maxwell, who has had him on his tail since the start, really.
Yeah,
Whilst VZ has been able to build up the margin. Man. Out of the last corner they come.
Eric
Harmon on the outside.
Man, I tell you what, he is all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but man, he is really, really getting super impressive. Like immediately, when some of the fastest guys when you talk about him, he's right there.
And he's got a good drive out there, as is Richardson. Richardson is all over the rear of these. He won't get both of them heading into Quarry, but he may get Harmon on the outside if he's lucky enough, and he needs to get the car slowed down this time. Harmon has the inside, and Richardson will have to yield this time. He just didn't quite have enough of his car in front by the time they got to the braking zone.
Yeah, no, let's see. There goes Jamie by Ross. Well, these trees are just brutal here. Yeah, Jamie got by Rolliston there. That was a nice pass.
And Bird, yeah, he's got by him now, has Bird at last. The next driver he'll be going after is Miller de Graaf, but he won't have enough time, I don't think, as we are now on the penultimate lap of this second race in Mount Panorama. Harmon being chased by Richardson. Down the hill they come again.
Luke Maxwell probably smiling seeing that in his mirror. He's not a bigger fan. He's a big fan of Rolliston of Richardson right now. Stay on Harmon for me.
And a look up there from Luke Maxwell.
Was that Luke that smoked him there?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was Maxwell that locked up at the elbow. Stefan Millis has caught the wall somewhere, hence why he's back in pit lane. We'll find out more exactly what he's been up to as the leaders are about to begin their final lap of the race. Steve Webber's got posture, Jan Polman for position, for position I should say. Polman has gone down the order a little bit there, so I wonder if he's made a mistake. Has the Dutchman, And he has made a mistake because you can see the black and orange flag next to his name on the timing tower.
Yeah, he just, right as you said that, he went off track again. It got worse. Here we are on the last lap. Is that right? Last lap? Yeah, definitely.
We are now on the last lap, yeah. VZ on his way to victory, something which he has celebrated before. Now, I've mentioned that 8 different drivers have taken victories so far this season. VZ has got 1 so far. I think that came in Zolder or somewhere like that, where he picked that one up. We'll find out soon enough from his point of view where exactly he had got that. But he's had a decent season so far as VZ, consistent all the way through. Even if it isn't the victory, he does well to finish on the podium anyhow. But these lot are still tossing it out for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. And Matt Hudson has joined the group here, thinking he can take away another podium out of this.
Yeah, well, he's in a good spot. He's going to be, he's going to make it really tough on Richardson going down the long straightaway there after we come out of the mountain section. I say, well, yeah, you do have to love his camera angles.
Well, these are better than some of those which we've seen over the course of this one.
Yeah, this is, these are the lower ground cams. It's just hard to see the action when they're passing with those, but that's the air problem with the air cams around here. It's all these trees.
Jack VZ has had a race to remember, and he'll go into race 3 in high spirits, thinking he can remain in the championship hunt with the likes of John Hodgson and all that. The standings will be updated once all the races are done for tonight. Hudson runs wide at the penultimate turn. Jack VZ heads through the last corner and is going to take victory in race number 2. A good effort from Jack VZ. 2nd win of the season and a big, big boost in his quest to become champion. Luke Maxwell 2nd, and it's Eric Harmer who bags another podium ahead of Matthew Richardson and John Hutchison. Luke Chinson makes it to 6th place. Minna de Graaf is the winner in the AMS. Had a Bird. Dave Rollison 2nd in the AMS, and it's Mike Bousson who completes a back of the grid drive to 10th, and will be on reverse grid pole for race number 3. And we've got Daniel Beauchamp, Eric Colleen, Paul Crabb, Steve Webb, Michael Choate, Terence Fosberg, Darren Nunn, Richard Williams, and Gert-Jan Polman. We'll wait to see over the line.
There we go. I was looking at some of these comments in the chat. Pullman said race 2, lap 3, 3 wide from the mountain. Yeah, that's usually not too good.
There is Gert-Jan Polman, who is he just came out of the pit lane here. He thinks he can go after Richard Williams, who makes a lock up at the Forest Elbow. That might encourage Polman a little bit, but they won't score any points because they finished too low down in the field. But they can use the warm-up session between this race and the last one before we wrap up proceedings. We'll get a word with a few drivers before the broadcast is over. We're just patiently waiting for Richard Williams and Jan Polman to take the checker flag, and we can run down on the result of the second race.
I guess that was what he was talking about. But...
Yeah, it said from the mountain, so that would be the incident where Polman got caught up. That was Mike Bousson. Yeah. That was Mike Bousson. He came close to...
Well, I mean, that almost looked like a net code. I mean, I'm not saying it was 100% or anything, but it sure did look like that. Yeah, I knew that was going to fix it to get me there. All right. Yeah, that's the problem. We can't watch the replays after the session change is over. All right. So, yeah, did you say you wanted to take a look at the points again while we were here in the...
race result first for the second one, Jim.
Probably a good idea.
At the end of race 2 is Jack VZ, who wins out over Luke Maxwell and Eric Harmon. Matthew Richardson and John Hudson are 4th and 5th. Then it's Luke Chinson 6th. Minna de Graaf, the winner in the AMS, followed by Jamie Bird, David Rollison, and Mike Bousson, who will begin race 3 from reverse grid pole. Daniel Beauchamp, Eric Colleen are next. And we've got Paul Crabb in 13th position, Steve Webb, Michael Choate, Terence Fosberg, Darren Nunn, Richard Williams, and Gert-Jan Polman were those that made it to the checker flag. Stefan Mills was the only driver to not do so.
So did you want to look at the pro points or the AM points? Was it?
We'll have a look at both. We'll start off with the pros first, and then we can work out who potentially is going to end up improving their scores.
Well,
I would expect Hudson to improve his points total because if you remember, he wasn't here last week.
yes.
And I would probably say with his points finishes so far, it looks projected to get a decent enough point score to increase his tally of 206. Ari Harmon will most certainly improve his point score, as will Luke Maxwell. Matthew Richardson's had a good evening so far. Jack Veazey, one of the best evenings of his season. So we are potentially looking at a 5-way battle for the championship.
That's what I'm talking
with
about.
Those just battling out for the remaining scraps.
Yeah, no, that's and I was thinking that when they were finishing that race, man, all the points leaders were up there at the front of that, field, and that was really cool to see. McCutcheon, Harmon, Maxwell, Richardson, and Veazey, all of them were right there together. So that was fun. All right, let's take a look at the AM points here now and see where we're at.
Well, Men of the Golf and David Wilson have taken an AM victory each this evening, but the regular point system still applies. I'd probably say that De Graaf is definitely going to improve his score. David Rollison, who's missed a few rounds, he will definitely improve his score. Polman's not had the best of evenings. Eric Colleen has not had the best of evenings, and Stefan Millis has most certainly not had the best of evenings, and Michael Choate certainly hasn't either. Steve Webber's kind of been off it this evening so far, but I think he'll get some points at least. So it's not quite as open, I would say, compared to the pros, Jim. That would be my summary.
No, I agree. I think we're going to see big improvement with Rolliston for sure, and he's going to be starting this race, I think, in a pretty good spot as well. He's going to be up there on the second or third row, something like that. So that's going to be a good start for him as well, which is really important here. Getting out, being up front to start is such a huge advantage here.
Well, the drivers are in their warm-up session now. Most of which will be taking a break from that, nip into the loo, get a drink or something like that before race 3 does get underway eventually. There we see Menno de Graaf, who's eager to impress, avoiding the orange army car that ended up in the barrier there at Solomon Park. I think that would have been Steve Webb. Yeah, I just seen that. Yeah, that's actually very clever from Richie Williams. Well, if he was fed up, well, I can see why, considering he's just ended up in the barrier there. You can see the drivers on circuit. Jamie Bird is another one of those who's on the circuit now. Wanted a little bit more mileage and a little bit of practice at a few particular corners. And he's coming over the line now to complete what will be the only out lap he'll be able to do, or the only lap, because we're less than a minute away from the warm-up session being done. 20 minutes it'll be for the final race of tonight. 25 for the win, 20 for second. And it's a point difference for every position downwards. So all 20 drivers, providing they all finish, will score points, which will do their scores no harm whatsoever. And we hope to see that Mike Bousson can at last convert a reverse grid pole into a solid race finishing position, because nothing's gone right for him this season, let's be honest, and it needs to be turned around sooner rather than later. And you'd have thought he'd have picked up a win by this point in the season. Well, he hasn't done so yet, despite the fact that 8 other drivers have done.
All right, yeah, we were having a little mic issue there for me. Sorry about that. I have no idea how long that's actually been going on. But anyway, we're back. I'm back, and we're gridding up here. We'll get you the grid going here.
Mike Bousson on reverse grid pole. David Wilson is next, and then we've got Jamie Bird and Menno de Graaf in 3rd and 4th. Luke Chinison and John Hodgson are on row 3, followed by Matthew Richardson and Eric Harmon. Luke Maxwell and Jack Veazey ran out the top 10, with Daniel Beauchamp and Eric Colleen on the 6th row of the grid. Running down the rest, it's Paul Krebs and Steve Webb, Michael Cho and Terrence Vespo make up row 8. Then we've got Darren Nunn, Richard Williams, Gert-Jan Polman, and Stefan Mellis. And we wait for the remaining drivers to head on to the grid. It looks like everyone is here now, and we are good to go. The first light will be coming on very, very, very shortly. And it might have still one more driver to join the grid. If it is Stefan Mellis, we're waiting on. Yeah, he did come into the pit lane at the end of the race in race 2, but he's on the grid now with his setup done. So the first light will be appearing on your screen. One light is on. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go for the last race of tonight. You can see the plumes of smoke with the minimal wheel spin there for Mike Bousson. That was the best start we've seen from him. Luke Chidison on the inside there. It's going to be sandwiched between... That looks like David Rolliston there. He didn't get off to the best of starts. Plenty of cars off the racetrack. It looks like Eric Kalina's got involved as well. Daniel Beauchamp has been affected at turn 1. Not for the first time tonight. And you can just see a drag race on the mountain straight heading towards Quarry Corner. There is David Rolliston and Mendo de Graaf fighting over honours in the AMS. But it looks like Jamie Bird has come through into second place, Chip.
Yeah, he flew through there. He caught a gap in that hole in that pack there and shot in there. He's up... Well, he's up. It's only a spot, but I thought he had dropped back a little bit. I thought he made it up 2 or 3. But, yeah, this is a great battle right here. Holy cow.
And you can see side-by-side action involving Jack Veazey and Matthew Richardson up the hill. And Veazey nearly ended up in the wall, as did Matthew Richardson. And now we look at Eric Harmon, who's trying to make the most of the battle that was going on ahead of him. I think Harmon lost places at the start with all the carnage that we had just witnessed. But now as they head down the hill through Skyline, it feels like Mike Bousson has this one under control. With Jamie Bird second, it's Luke Chunison, Mendo de Graaf in 4th place, and the leader in the AMS. Jelma Hutchinson in 5th, and it's David Rolliston 6th. Then you've got Jack Veazey, Eric Harmon, Matthew Richardson, and Paul Crowe has made up places inside the top 10.
I tell you what, Jamie is all over Bousson here too. This is Jamie's flying right now. I'm pretty sure he's going to get the pass done right here unless Mike does a hard blocking job.
Bird side by side with Bousson on the Conrad Straight. There is the kink before the chase. Will Bousson still have the inside line? No, he won't, because Bird has got the whole car in front of him. And now it is Bird who is leading. Hutchinson to the outside of Mendo de Graaf at the same corner. He's able to get through. David Rolliston isn't too far behind either, despite a little flicker there. And Eric Harmon's to the outside of Jack Veazey. It looks like Veazey may have to risk it here and go to the inside of Rolliston, but there's just no way through. De Graaf runs wide at the last turn. He's going to end up in the bow if he's not careful. Luckily, he slowed it down, but he's lost places, Jim.
Yeah, that was a really bad spot to run off to because he had people all over him when he did it.
Loads of gravel on the racing line on the exit of Hell's Corner, but that doesn't seem to affect the leaders coming out of there. Daniel Beauchamp is the only driver that's retired from the race so far. Eric Colleen's car has been affected, and I think Darren Nunn ended up in trouble as well on that opening lap, not for the first time this evening. De Graaf goes through ahead of Michael Choke for second place in the AMS.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, David Rolliston got sandwiched in the middle there at the start of the race, right after they came through turn 1 or right in turn 1. And, man, he was back 4 spots. He's made up 1, but he sure did get the worst of that deal at the beginning of this race. I'm going to go back and see if I can find that little incident, but it's not going to be easy to find because it wasn't an accident.
And there we look at Matthew Richardson on the tail of Jack Veazey. Veazey, who won race number 2. The driver who won race number 1, Eric Harmon, is directly behind Richardson. So Richardson is sandwiched in between the 2 race winners of this evening so far. It's Jamie Bird, who's yet to win this season, in the lead, and Mike Bousson, who's also yet to win. He's running in second place. And Luke Chunison, who's also yet to win, is in P3. So we could end up having a new winner by the end of the night, Jim.
I mean, you would think that at this point for sure, the way they're running right now.
There they are. Veazey is also attacking David Rolliston down the Conrad Straight. Will he be in front by the time they get to the chase? The answer is yes, but for how long? Because Rolliston still has his car on the inside. He's got Richardson too, his right hand side. The 2 make contact, and Harmon goes through, as does Crab, and Rolliston's off the circuit.
Oh my goodness, man. Okay, I love Richardson, don't get me wrong, but wow, that was a little bit of a hip check there, man. Holy cow.
2 laps down, and it's Bird who continues to lead the way, but there's going to be a long queue of cars on his tail. There's no doubt about that, particularly John Hutchison, who has made the most of his respectable start so far, up in 4th place from 6th. Jack Veazey up from 10th to 5th. Paul Crabb's up from 13th to 8th. Bird and Boost on nose to tail. Luke Maxwell has overtaken Michael Choate for position, is up in P12.
Yeah, of course, Maxwell got into something there, I think, early on. He's back several spots. And Rolliston is still, it's going from bad to worse for him.
There we see Bird, Buson, Tunison, 1st, 2nd and 3rd through McFinley Park. And they'll be hoping to keep their noses clean throughout this one. It's a 20-minute encounter, 5 minutes into this one. Now we're going to see a replay, Jim. And this is with Matthew Richardson and David Rolliston at the chase.
Yeah, that was a little hip check there. I don't know, that was... I mean, I like a little rubbing. He definitely got his spot through there for sure.
My Buson in 2nd place.
This is a nice little battle here, Harmon and Crabb.
Yeah, Crabb has had the best race of his evening so far. It's not been the best compared to what we saw from him at Interlagos, where he took his first win of the campaign. But now he's going into combat with Eric Harmon, who is determined to close down the gap on Mahutson. But at the moment, he's not doing that because Mahutson is 3 places up ahead of him in this 3rd and final race of tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to see. I think we just had something happen to Vosberg.
This is over at the cutting that Vosberg has had his moment.
Oh, hang on to it.
Yeah. He caught it just in time.
He did. Actually, that was a pretty good save given where that happened at. That could have been really bad. Yeah, you know, we watched him. We were talking about it before we came on the air. He just does not seem comfortable here at all. We were watching him practice on the mountain, and if I'm being honest, he was struggling.
Buson's past Bird for the lead, Jim. We'll have a look at live images in a moment, but we're going to see the overtake from Buson on Bird for the lead at some point. And here we go. So this was Bird not having the best of lines, took a tight line through the chase, and that was all Buson needed to go in front.
Yeah, I mean, that's a typical run down that straight, get the draft off of him, I think, is where that came from there.
Buson leads, but for how long? Now that he's in front, how long will it be before Tunison decides to head on through ahead of Jamie Bird?
Yeah, and I would look in your mirrors, folks, but there's somebody lurking back there in the distance too. You start hearing the Jaws music playing as McCutcheon comes rolling through.
Well, he is on the tail of these 3, not as close as Chinison is to Bird, but hypothetically speaking, Mahutson's going to be all over the back of these 3, so they better watch out because the championship leader is coming at them so quickly. And Bird is coming back on Buson here. He's into the slipstream here, and I would expect Bird to be alongside by the time they get to the braking zone of the chase. To the inside goes Bird. Does Buson know? Does Buson know he's there? He does know he's there, and Bird goes back through into the lead.
He's well
yeah,
aware
he wasn't going to fight that one.
No, I mean, I don't know how you really do that. I mean, you can try to block him, but, I mean, it's, I think that the better play is to try to be in 2nd place there on the last lap. You know what I mean? I think that's the play. You try to position yourself to where you can make that move on the last lap and make them block you.
We've got a 4-way battle for the lead, and we've got a 4-way battle for 5th place. Yeah. VC's got Richardson, Harmon and Crabb. The top 4 continues to dice it out. It could be an 8-way battle for the win. Extraordinary. Buson's gone back ahead of Bird again, Jim. So Buson has overtaken Bird for the lead by the time they get to Quarry Bend. And Chinison is fancying a go.
I wonder if Bird must have had a little off track or something. Let's go back and see real quick what happened there.
I don't think it would have been as distinct as that, Jim. I think it's just the fact that Buson made the most of the toe and Bird didn't want to fight it.
No, you're right. That's 100% correct. Well, I tell you what, Tunison's coming back there, though. Look at that. And McCutcheon, yeah, this is tightening right on up as we go back to live images here.
Hudson through McFinley Park. Chinison is... Well, that's the Williams Retro livery in front of him. You can just see the other 4 cars coming through. Behind, Skyline, and down towards Forest Elbow, and Buson, Bird. Tunison, Hutchison, Veazey, Richardson, Harmon, and Crabb. And then it's David Rollison leading the way in the M's. 7 tenths clear over Minigarth, and there goes Hutchison on Tunison for 3rd place, and that was coming.
Yep, you knew that was coming right there. Early, though. A little earlier than I thought on that straightaway. He had a really good run coming out through the mountain there.
And Bird's advancing with Buson by the looks of it. As he got through, not that time. Hutchison does go through into P3 now ahead of the Dutchman. Luke Tunison. Richard Williams has found the wall again, as has Darren Nunn. So their races are effectively done now, it seems. But we're now on lap number 6. 10 minutes down, 10 minutes to go. I would probably say at this rate, we could end up looking at 11 laps, depending on how quick the leaders get round these remaining minutes. And you could just see Richardson, Harmon, and Crabb all knows to say it looks like Veazey's left them for dead slightly.
I tell you what, man, we have got just, a little bit. He's just starting to pull away, but he's got a little work to do to catch up to the group ahead. Man, we got some tight battles going on here. Look at this.
Harmon through on Richardson.
Bird went wide.
Yeah, Bird's in the wall. It looks like Bird found the wall, Jim. He might have found the wall. He's now behind Hutchison and Tunison. And Bird has jogged down the order again.
I think he just went wide and had to lock him up to keep from getting from hitting the wall. Let's see.
Hutchison now on the tail of Buson for the lead. There is Bird. He was on the outside of Buson. He had got caught out on the curb.
Oh, he did
go into the wall.
Yeah,
he did catch the wall.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough. That's all right. I think that was a no harm, no foul kind of thing. I think he'll be all right. We'll check his wheel in a minute.
You can just see the leaders coming out of Forest Elbow here. There is Buson being chased by Hutchison. We've got Tunison, Bird, Veazey, Richardson, Harmon, and Crabb. All fighting potentially for the lead. I mean, there's still a long way to go when you think of it, when a lot can change.
Oh, yeah.
But there is Bird fighting back with Tunison for P3. And is Bird on his way through around the outside? He's not.
Oh,
on Tunison's little twitch. Yeah, that should allow Veazey to go past, because Veazey's momentum will be superior compared to Tunison's. And that's all Veazey needs to head on through.
Wow, so much going on here. All right, let's see.
Tunison on the inside of Veazey. No way through at the moment. It looks like Towers Vosberg's evening is more or less wrapped up, because he's now back in pit lane. Richard Williams has a penalty notice, hence why he's got that black flag next to his name on the timing tower, so he's due in to serve that. Perhaps he didn't slow down when he had the slowdown to his name when he needed to. But there is Bird, and that's Tunison's mistake that allowed Bird going back through into the final podium spot.
I just kind of wanted to make sure there was no contact there. I didn't think there was, but I just wanted to make sure. Oh, these cameras on the mountain are killing me.
Well, there are Buson and Hutchison up the hill through Solomon. There's a little bit of a gap back to Jamie Bird now.
Bird got back ahead of Veazey, though, and Tunison, so.
Hutchison all over the gearbox now. Buson coming through McFinery Park. Does Buson come out of that fine? He does, and Hutchison's lost a little bit of ground, actually, and that's knocked his momentum through Skyline and through the S's.
It has indeed, yeah. Yeah, he must have upset the car through there somewhere and had to get out of it, because he has definitely lost that snappy momentum going through the mountain that he normally has.
Through the Conrod Straight they come. You can see the top 8 all in picture. And Luke Maxwell's now overtaken David Rolliston. He could all of a sudden... It's essentially going to be a 9-car train, essentially, all the way through to the end of this. And Maxwell's got a little bit of work to do. You can see the gap he's got to make up. It's a 4.5-second gap.
That's a
he
big
needs to... it's a big gap. But there off goes Eric Harmon, being overtaken by Paul Crabb. And Paul Crabb making the most of the mistake there. Bird spins. Sorry, Jim. Bird has gone off at the last corner, and his crash has seen him retire.
Jamie. All right, let's go back and have a look at it.
It's
flat cooked it in there. Oh, yeah, tore the back end off of it. Golly. That's terrible. Man, what a bummer. Well,
That's such a shame.
yeah, that is.
The race for the win is still on, though.
Oh, yeah.
Buson still chasing that elusive first win of the season. Hutchinson isn't too far back. That's Jinnison making another mistake, this time over at the cut-in. Richardson will have the outside, but on the way uphill, he's not going to have the high ground, so he'll have to settle back in. And that might open the door for Paul Crowe to make amends and head on through, but Richardson just about shuts the door. And Eric Harmon will have hoped that he'd shut that door on the right-hand side because he's managed to just completely scrape it against the barrier at Solomon.
Wow. This is, oh man, I tell you what, you gotta love the mountain, right? I mean, it's just so precise, man. You just have to be on your game. You need that straightaway just so you can catch your breath after going through the mountain.
And so Harmon is through into P7 ahead of Crabb. And, well, he's in P7, I should say, Harmon. Richardson is still running in P5, Jinnison back into P4. But Hudson is still on the tail of Buson for the lead, and Vesey is the next driver who is just waiting in case these two happen to come to blows. I know I'm not trying to jinx it, but I know we often see this time for time in the Radical SR8 Championship, no matter what kind of stature of a racing driver you are. Just over 4 minutes left, so I think we are going to get 3 more laps here, Jim. Harmon is back ahead of Crabb for your information.
Wow. Yeah. Let me go back and look at that. That's oh, is that run? Richardson trying to make a run on the outside there through turn 1.
Yeah, Harmon's got through ahead of him. Crabb is looking to take advantage of the open door on the mountain straight.
Whoa!
Bang of wheels between Crabb and Richardson. That's a little bit naughty, that, from Crabb. But he has to leave him room, and he does leave him room on the approach to Quali. Richardson on the inside, Crowe to the outside. And Richardson was able to have the high ground through there. So that's him back through. Maxwell is doing his utmost to get himself involved in the action. He's now just 1.7 seconds off Paul Crabb in these remaining laps here. Richardson and Crabb are still going at it.
Oh, yeah. Crabb is definitely fired up there.
Unbelievable race we are seeing.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Down the hill they come. And just to let you know, in the terms of the battle involving the AMS, Mena de Graaf has gone down the order big time, unfortunately, compared to what we've seen from him. And up in second place in the AMS is Steve Webb.
Yes, he is.
Coming through the field nicely. He's 9 seconds off David Rollison, who's expected to take the AM victory in this one, which will help his cause in the championship battle in that respect.
He's having a fantastic night.
Top 2 finishers in the AMS in all 3 races in Mount Panorama for David Rollison, who will be in the top 2 by the end of this in the pros, because Mike Buson has still got John Hutchinson for company. He's got another round about 13 kilometres to cope here, does Mike Buson, to take his first win of the season.
Yeah, it looks that way. I'm trying to watch this clock here. No, this is not the white flag lap, so yeah, this is well, it is
2
the
to
white
go.
flag. Yeah.
Mike Buson leads. He's got Hudson on his tail. Needs to go defensive here, does Buson, if he wants to get that first win. Hudson is just taking his time with this, not needing to rush it. Jack Vesey's had a splendid race, up from 10th to 3rd. Eric Colleen's got a black and orange flag to his name, so he is due into the pit lane for repairs, which will allow Mena de Graaf to go up another position, hoping that he can end this one on a high. He's got too much ground to make up anyway on the likes of Stefan Mills, Michael Cho, and all that. Hudson still looming in behind Mike Buson up the hill towards Solomon and McFinnery, and Buson is absolutely doing his best efforts to keep him back. This is by far the best we've seen from Mike Buson all season.
Yeah, I think I think McCutcheon's just waiting. Yes, this is a great run for Buson. Of course, we've seen him in spots where he was really close to getting a win, and it just kind of fell apart on him there at the last minute a couple times. But yeah, he's having a nice run right now.
Yeah, Hudson is within range to attack. There's no question. Buson needs to place his car in the right places here. And Tunis has gone down the order 2 positions since we last saw. He's just got fallen behind Eric Harmon and Matthew Richardson, who will stay with this battle for the lead. Hudson he thought about going to the inside to begin with. I'm a little bit surprised he slotted back in, but he's gone to the inside again and slots back in. So I don't know whether John Hudson's running more wing compared to some of the others.
He's waiting.
But
he's just waiting.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing. I guarantee you he's waiting. He just doesn't want to be in first place right there because he knows that he'll get passed.
Matthew Richardson down to P7 behind Paul Crabb as we see the leaders head over the line to begin their final up of the race. And now look at this. Yeah, Matthew Richardson's gone through to 5th place ahead of Paul Crabb. Luke Tunison has got himself involved in this, as has Luke Maxwell, which is no surprise. Yep. Luke Maxwell determined to make up a few positions on this last lap, but he won't have enough opportunities, I don't think, to get through past all 4 of them. Or will he?
I mean, he certainly could. As close as they are, it's entirely possible that he could. Oh, is he going to go 3 wide? I thought he was.
You thought about it, didn't he? Tunison and Crabb side by side. Maxwell has to hold back here. He has to hold back, and he has to this time around. And the drivers are running out of opportunities here. This is a 5-way battle for 4th place, involving Eric Harmon, Matthew Richardson, Luke Tunison, Paul Crabb, and Luke Maxwell. Looking at the battle for the lead, Buson and Hudson just as close, if not closer. There they are, look, even closer compared to the 5-car battle. There is a back marker they'll be coming up to, but I think it should just about stay out of the way. And VZ is closing in behind. Will he do anything about these top 2? As you can see, we switch camera angles to properly see what's going on. Buson and Hudson absolutely giving it their all. Buson not far away from his first win of the season. Hudson just waiting for the opportunity. He's actually further back this time, Jim, compared to the previous lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to make a run here. Let's see. This is what it's all about right here. Here he comes.
He's got to go defensive here, Buson. I would say to the inside if I was Buson, to be honest with you.
Here he comes.
Place it. Don't give him the inside, Mike.
He's all right. I think he's good. I think
he's good indeed, but he just needs to nail this last corner. He's absolutely fine. Mike Buson has driven beautifully at last in Season 6 in the Radical SR8 Championship. Mike Buson exits the final corner to take his first win of the season in the Radical SR8 Championship in the defence to his title. What a drive from reverse grid pole ahead of John Hodgson and Jack Vesey. And we've got Eric Harmon holding ahead of Matthew Richardson, Luke Tunison, Luke Maxwell got by Paul Crabb on the last lap. And we turn to David Rollison, who will pick up another AM win in 9th position overall. A long way clear ahead of Steve Webb, and Gert-Jan Polman rounds out the AM podium.
Wow. All right. Well, there was plenty of action in that one, wasn't there? Holy cow.
Wasn't there just?
Oh, man. That was fun.
What an evening. Well, we'll say what a race that was. It was intense. But I'm happy that Mike's got a win at last, Jim.
Finally got him a win. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think he did a perfect job of placement there to keep McCutcheon off of him. And I think John realized he was going to have to basically wreck him to try to get that move pulled off. And John's smart. He'll take the 2nd place and get the points for it and move on, I think,
As we wait for Menedigoff to head over the line. It was like a love kiss there between Stefan Millis and Steve Webb. Quite ironic considering their previous battles on circuit that have resulted in collisions.
That's closer to their previous battle right there. Well, get it out here. Better than during the races.
And there we see Menedigoff heading over the line, which will allow us to run down on the final result from this 3rd race here in Mount Panorama. We've been treated to something brilliant right there. It's Mike Buson who takes victory, ahead of John Hudson, Jack Vesey 3rd, Eric Harmon 4th, followed by Matthew Richardson, Luke Tunison, Luke Maxwell, and Paul Crabb. David Wilson winning out again in the AMS with Steve Webb in 2nd place, and it's Gert-Jan Polman rounding out the podium. Michael Cho, 12th overall, ahead of Stefan Millis, Menedigoff, Richard Williams, Eric Colleen got to the end. Taz Fussberg did as well, but we lost Darren Nunn, Jamie Bird, and Daniel Beauchamp, who have had evenings to forget. Well. That was a great race, a brilliant result in the end. a 9th different race winner overall this season, Jim. Mike Buson can add his name to that list.
Yeah, that was fun, man. Wow. All right. Yeah, that was good stuff. By far the best race of the night was the last one for sure. They progressively got better, actually. You know, the first one was just kind of everybody holding position and just kind of, taking it relatively easy. And then they just escalated after that and turned into a lot of fun. All right. Well, looks like we got a couple people in there to interview. Who you want to pull in first?
I'll pull in Jack Veazey first. Let's get a word with him because he's had another strong evening. By the end of an exhausting one, I'd imagine, Jack, you picked up a win, but I'm sure that was no easy feat.
No. I have a good pace around here this week, which helps. And also the guys behind me were battling as well. So that helped a lot. But yeah, my second win of the season. So can't complain with that.
And, well, you look at the championship battle now. I mean, the points battle will be, well, the point standings will be updated in due course. But you have to say, me and Jim were agreeing that we've got potentially 5 drivers who could potentially win it now.
Yeah, I think John had a lead, but maybe that's narrowed. But it is close, so it's good. It's really competitive this season. It's anyone's for the taking, really.
And what about the remaining races? We've got an American double bill. We go to Road Atlanta next, which I'm sure is a circuit that you potentially thrived on. Did you thrive there last? Did we go to Road Atlanta last season, Jim? I can't try to remember whether we did or not.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Okay. But surely it must be a circuit you think you can do well at. If you can find your way through the S's fine around Mount Panorama, surely you'll be able to filter your way through the S's just as fine at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, Road Atlanta's a walk in the park compared to this track. And I really enjoy Road Atlanta, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to Sebring as well. That Sebring will probably be full of overtakes. And I'm not sure about Road Atlanta, maybe a couple here and there. But I think Sebring is the race to look out for.
Anyone want to shout to, Jack, before we let you go?
Let's give a shout out to friends and family watching, you guys, and everyone in the race today. All 3 races were pretty clean for me. So, yeah, a good day in the office.
Excellent. Jack, well done. Another victory to your name this season. That's the second you've picked up. We were trying to remember which other event that you've took your first win. Was it at Solder you won your first one, or was it Sonoma? I can't remember.
No, it was Road America.
Was it Road America?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you get off, Jack. Thank you for your time, and well done on taking another win and adding to your points total, taking you closer to the championship battle.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
That was Jack Veazey taking victory there, and we'll get a word now with the man who has finally broken his duck this season in Season 6. It's been a long time coming, Mike Buson. Congratulations on winning at last.
Evening, chaps. Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time I spoke to you guys, but it's been a while.
I'm sure we spoke at some point in the season when you've had a respectable evening, but I'm sure you'll be the most chuffed out of the lot of them by the end of this this round.
I doubt we have, to be fair, because I've generally quit in an absolute rage because the amount of times I've been taken out for so far this season, which is never caught on camera. I think you lot think I keep crashing, but I'm generally taken out by every man and his dog at the moment. So the luck is not on my side at the moment. But yeah, it was a much more productive evening. I had a connection error on the first race, and I'm second. I had obviously started 15th, so I had to get myself back into the top 10, but I got stuck behind Torres. Is it Torres? I can't remember.
Torres Foster, yeah.
Yeah. Butcherizing his name. And then, yeah, that was a very sweaty experience on that last one. I am mildly moist, shall I say? But John was a kind gentleman, and he he wasn't going to fight that. He said at the last corner. So I thought to myself, well, saves us both, me taking us both out. So I thanked him for that. But yeah, it's a really bad, probably the worst season ever, to be fair. But I was flippant when John said it'd take you a season to get used to the new set of pedals. And to be fair, I have been hunting the optimal setup. But to be fair, that aside, it is generally I've got caught in every man's troubles. It seems, I can't, like a magnet to spinning drivers at the moment. So,
well,
it is what it is.
You're not the first champion that's had a follow-up year that feels like that. There's been a lot of guys that have in sim racing and in real life, that have just had a championship season, one of those great kind of years where everything goes right, and then comes back with you can't seem to avoid anybody's stuff. You try, you do something crazy like you stomp on the brakes and then you get run over from behind, and then it just doesn't matter. It just happens.
Well, this is it, Jim. I'm a champion now. I don't have to try hard anymore.
That's right.
Let's be brutally honest.
Right.
I've got that for life. I'll have it put on my gravestone.
I mean, as right now, you are the champion. You are still the current champion.
And I'm all for giving others a chance. I am very giving like that.
You're a good man,
and I
sir.
think the lads, they need the points. They need help.
Yeah, well, you've accomplished
who needs
it at this point.
back? Who needs back to back? Let's be fair.
All they want to do is write stories and books about you if you start doing things like that.
Well, this is it. A legend. A living legend.
In his own mind, for sure.
Yeah, well, definitely in my own mind, yeah. No one else is.
All right, buddy. It's good to have you back up here in a winning way.
Hopefully it continues till the end of the season.
So let's see who you want to shout out to while we have you in here.
I'll give a shout out to John and the team for not making my life overly difficult tonight. So I thank John and the team.
All right, man. Well, it was good to talk to you, and hopefully you get back to your winning ways, and we'll get to spend some more time together this season.
Can't wait, Jim. I tell you, I've missed you.
Missed you
anyway.
Too. All right, buddy.
Catch you later, boys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
That was Mike Bousson who we spoke to there, breaking his winning drought there. We're very, very well done to him. Let's get a word with Matthew Richardson, who's had a respectable evening, right in the mix for race wins. Two fifth-place finishes and a fourth, Matthew.
Yes. I think it went decent in the races. I think they could have been better, of course, but I think it was a pretty consistent evening with...
It's Mount Panorama. They could have been a lot worse, too.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think they were a good haul of points. And, yeah, I managed to stay out of trouble, mostly out of trouble, which was a good thing. But yeah,
you seem to have a lot of speed around the mountain, though. You had your pace. It looked like this place is hard to pass at, obviously, except for the two, the two obvious passing zones at the end of the two straightaways. But you seem to be quick through the mountain. Your car looked, I call it snappy. When you just kind of pop in those turns as you're going through the mountain. You definitely look like you had the pace through there most of the night.
Yeah, I think I'd say I was relatively fast around here, but I think it was just getting stuck behind people, like going up the mountain and down the mountain, and then like sort of falling back before the long straight where you can slipstream and stuff.
I mean,
I think I made too many mistakes.
You got to get off the mountain good on that last turn to get that run down the straightaway, and you really got to kind of get out of turn one well. To get that run up the Main Straight. So, but you had a good night though. Overall, kept your nose pretty clean tonight. So that's good accomplishment.
A few scary moments in race 2. I was sure I was going to end up in the barrier.
When you locked it up and all three of them went by you. Yeah, you were. I'm sure that was really close. You probably needed to change pants after that. That was rough.
Yeah. I think I accidentally knocked down my brake bias a bit, so locked the rears going down into there. So,
did you?
I was fortunate to Fortunate to not end up in the barrier.
Yeah,
and
well,
then-
we went back and
yeah.
looked at it. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, that back end started to come around on you. You did a little Tokyo drift there, but you managed to get it woed up enough to not wreck it. So, good job.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
since we got you in here, who you wanna shout out to while we have you here?
I'll shout out my brother and sister and my mum and dad who are watching.
There
So
you go.
yeah, and you guys for, of course, brilliant commentary once again. So yeah.
Well, one of us is brilliant, and then there's me.
Mhm.
Don't be that hard on yourself, Jim. Seriously.
That's all right. I'm the cameraman. I'm the guy that's paid to hold the cameras. All right, buddy. It was good to have you in here, though. Good to
Yeah.
see you tonight. Good to see you had a good night, and looking forward for the rest of the season. What do you think about the upcoming tracks you got? You got
I've not.
Road Atlanta and Sebring coming up.
Yeah, I think they're I'm missing Sebring. I'll be around for Road Atlanta, but yeah, I'll see how those go, or that one goes. So yeah.
You like it?
Anyway.
You like Road Atlanta, or you're missing Road Atlanta? I mean,
no, I'm missing Sebring, which is
Sebring,
unfortunate because I do like Sebring.
Yeah, well, everybody does.
Yeah.
You just gotta
Hopefully they go
you just
well
gotta be
next week.
young, and you gotta have good teeth because that place will rattle your dental work loose if you don't, especially in these cars.
Well, this track too. I mean,
Well, that's
I've got a
true,
3D printed mount for my dashboard and it broke. So
Really?
yeah, so I was running without a
Wow.
dashboard this evening, so that wasn't great.
Well,
But anyway.
yeah. Well, that happens, That's
Thanks,
why
guys.
I went for the overlay that goes at the bottom of the screen where the wheel is.
Yeah.
Just to prevent that, because everything shakes on my rig too. So.
Mhm.
All right, buddy. It was
Yeah.
good having you in here.
Yeah.
Good to talk to you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. We'll hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
That was Matthew Richardson ending his evening on a high note there, considering his points haul. But I suppose that's the thing when you've got these drop scores, Jim, to compensate for anyone that misses any of the rounds during the course of this season.
Yeah, I like drop scores. I think I think it really keeps people engaged. You can get away with missing one or having a bad week or two, and still be in the mix, which keeps everybody engaged. I like that.
Well, Jim, it's been a brilliant evenings of action, and we look forward to more of it at Road Atlanta in a week's time. Thank you so much for your company, as always, and thank you to everyone that's been tuning in and supporting your favourite drivers along the way. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe to the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel, and you will not miss a thing. You will be notified with all the action that's been shown on the channel itself. Well, Mike Bousson has finally broke his winning duck for Season 6 as the reigning champion. Is that a sign of things to come? Or will that prove to be a fluke? Well, you know where to find out if he can continue that form as the championship battle continues to intensify. I am Tom Cairns with Jim Cunningham, and we'll speak to you again soon when the Radical SR8 Championship returns.